Like I said, that it's part of all that. Our export is dominated by oil, and data from MBS, the total export for third quarter of 2012 was 72.75 billion US dollars, of which oil export was 70.57, or about 97%. So it's a problem. Projected year-end non-oil earnings of 2.9 billion also indicates that the sector has been stagnant when you compare with the total non-oil export of 3.15 in the preceding year of 2011. And the business sector, it has continued to be affected by the persistent recession in the OECD countries, manifesting a declining demand and trading prices of our export. For non-oil export, the major market, the major destination for our own non-oil export is the Eurozone. And because they have financial crisis, there's no much demand for us to sell our non-oil exports. So it is affecting what we have. The only thing we can do now is whatever thing that we have, add value. Process it. Because that is basically what they were doing. They will buy our raw commodities, process it, and sell it back to us. So we should be able to process, add some value to what were our own commodities. Like I've said, the imports from advanced economies, they have declined sharply from 4.46% in 2011 to about 1.2% in 2012. Similarly, average non-oil commodity prices declined by 99.8% in 2012, as against an increase of 17.8%. So you can see that everything is tilting towards the next stage. Other domestic factors affecting Nigeria's business sector is poor value addition. We are not adding value to our own commodities. Limited investment in key sectors, like we are talking about if you have very serious investors in the solid minerals, in agriculture, that will diversify the business sector of the Nigerian economy. And then poor market access. I will come to that, because some economies have gone to a level that they create market access for their own entrepreneurs. They have risk mitigating instruments that they create, that they follow their exporters with. We will not be able to get to that level. So the market creation for our own exporters is extremely limited. I'm sure these are just what we have in the budget since the federal government launched the transformation agenda in 2011. Emphasis has actually been on how to diversify the Nigerian economy so that we can increase the foreign exchange earnings, create jobs for Nigerians, and then alleviate poverty. Within the context of the transformation agenda, the 2013 budget has been approved with the theme fiscal consolidation with inclusive growth. The budget, which is projected growth rate of 6.5%. Of course, the benchmark of the oil price that we use was 79. You know the kind of problems that the executive has with the legislation. And we're expecting a gross revenue of 10.84 trillion naira, 65 of which is expected to be contributed by oil. It has even come down. Where it used to be 70, 75, it is coming down. The expenditure estimates show a progressive increase in the proportion of capital expenditure, which grew by 21% to 1.54 trillion, as against a decline of 29% in the current expenditure to 2.44. I think what the new minister is trying to do, the coordinating minister, is move more funds for development, move more funds for capital development rather than for consumption. I've never seen any economy that will consume, and then grow. So gradually we are moving. It's been difficult, but gradually we are moving towards that. So one can say that that budget is a budget for growth. However, while the global economy is projected to grow by 3.5% in 2013, and this will be driven largely by increased manufacturing activities in China, three main risk factors continue to present challenges in Nigeria's business sector. Like I mentioned, the continued recession in Eurozone, because that is our major market for non-oil export. That will affect us. The second one is the spending cut in US. I'm sure all of you know that the US is saying we are spending too much. So that is likely going to affect the purchasing power. And you know that US is the biggest consumer market in the world, which is estimated at about 14 trillion US dollars. So if that is happening, it will affect the world economy. And then the quest for energy self-sufficiency in the United States. I think they had some deposits on reserve before. They now want to leverage on their own reserve. And that means that they are going to rely less on the oil import from Nigeria. So we're beginning to see that Nigeria will have problems getting market for their oil. As we speak, we have almost 12, 13 African countries that have discovered oil. So if they have to not get into the market, some of them will go into the market with penetration pricing and strategies. So they might even give lower than what Nigeria, so it's a big problem for us.
The premiums are disappearing fast.
Exactly. The foregoing underscores the need for greater emphasis on Nigerian business sector, particularly the non-oil sector. From all this, there's nothing Nigeria can do apart from diversifying the business sector and not rely only on the export revenues from oil. It is heartwarming that the federal government has announced a number of fiscal incentives in the 2013 budget, specifically targeted at non-oil sector. And we hope that this will spur a lot of people to get into doing business. That is the growth projection for 2013. For what we have already gone through that. The Eurozone, as we've said, go forward. These are the fiscal incentives for sugar. And then you have rice. I'm sure we can, when we leave the paper, we can look at that. Also looking at aviation, what the problems that we have in aviation. The solid minerals that was spoken about, so that people can get into it, and then the public mass transit. These are all the fiscal incentives that are embedded in the 2013 budget. Okay. In all this, what is the role of nature? Like I said, the bank was set up in January 1991 as an export credit agency, and is equally owned by Central Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Ministry of Finance Incorporated. We are to promote the diversification of Nigerian economy and develop and deepen the business sector by providing credit facilities, risk-bearing facilities, that is export credit guarantee and credit insurance, trade and market information, business and financial advisory services. We also complement an attractive foreign investment capital towards the development and growth of targeted industries and strategic sectors of the economy through availment of concessional lines of credit. We're also going to co-financing arrangements, and will facilitate buyer and supplier credit towards the adoption and acquisition of new and clean technologies, and to enable them to have access to patent and intellectual properties. Let me try and explain it. When I got into the bank in August 2009, I tried to look at the trend within the sub-region. Have the trade flows been increasing over the years? and I saw that the trade flows were not increasing. I now look at the markets that Nigerian exporters were serving, mainly Europe, America, maybe some part of Asia. And we had a lot of disputes, trade disputes, because they were not able to meet up with the standard required in these markets. Either they have not been able to meet an export order, or where they did, they won't be able to meet up with the standard.
Yeah.
So over the years, nothing was happening. So we try to look at how the other exim banks, how the other regions have been able to develop, how they've been able to help their own exporters. And I discovered that whether it is India, whether it is Malaysia, whether it is America, they segregated their export market into two. They had their regional market and then the market outside their region. Their regional market was their traditional market. And then anything outside that is non-traditional. Like us in West Africa, the ECOWAS region will be our traditional market. We will first trade among ourselves, understand the intricacies of international trade, get acquainted with the kind of standard that is required outside our traditional market. So that when we move outside the ECOWAS sub-region, the respective governments will now follow the exporters with risk mitigating instruments like credit insurance to mitigate them against political risks, non-payment and all that. And by extension, you are now creating market access for your own entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But because we don't have this, it's been extremely very, very difficult. Now, I wanted a situation where I will direct Nigerian exporters to come within the sub-region and take advantage of the huge potentials that we have. Because you find all other advanced economies, either they have branch offices or they have agency offices within the ECOWAS sub-region to take advantage of these potentials that we have. But you know, Nigerians were very, very, we are intoxicated with something that is foreign. If you ask somebody to say, oh, I want you to export your goods to Ghana, tell you what am I doing in Ghana? You know, so we needed to do something. We needed to come up with a sweetener, something that can make them come back.
Okay.
Even if not 100%, almost 50% will be done within the ECOWAS sub-region. And when we were to develop that product that will make funds available for the Nigerian exporters, we also saw that there's a huge challenge. When people are looking at the economies of Africa, everybody will tell you that South Africa is the leading economy. South Africa is the leading economy because they have data. For you to rate an economy, you must have data. The level of informal trade in South African economy is very low. It's less than 15%. In Nigeria, you have almost 50-50.
If not more.
If not more. And then we try to say, look, if you develop a product that you say is targeted at deepening trade within the ECOWAS sub-region, how do you capture that data?